Hello booktube. I actually think we need to take a pause for a second and just think about the fact that it is December TBR time. That is ridiculous. I'm not quite sure where the year has gone, but I think I just need a few moments to process that. This is the last month of the year, obviously. It's the last yearathon for 2014. The theme for this month was graphic novels, so I went just a little crazy on my work catalogue and popped a whole heap of things on hold. Some, like this, Hark a Vagrant by Kate Beaton, and I don't have it with me, but Black Sad were recommendations from Ronnie over at Ron Lit. I have previously seen this on the internet and I know that I do enjoy it, so I'm pretty sure that I will fly right through this. I just think it's a really fun way to learn stuff about history, so I am looking forward to reading that. And I mentioned Black Sad as well. I can't remember who that's by, and I'm hoping that I've left that at work, because if I haven't, I don't quite know where it is. But that does look quite interesting as well. It's sort of a private detective, very noirish, I think. There's also To This Day by Shane Kozakan, and I believe this is, there's a number of artists, 30 artists. Basically it's all about bullying, and I'm guessing how these particular artists have dealt with that. I just saw this on my shelf one day and I really like the cover, so I thought it might be quite interesting. So I'm looking forward to seeing what it's all about. Same goes with this one here, which is Katana. It's Volume 1 Soul Taker by Anne Innocent, Cliff Richards. And there's probably somebody under that sticker, but I can't see who it is. I basically just saw the cover and went, cool, chick with a sword, I'll give it a go. And I honestly don't actually know anything at all about this, so I may either really, really like it or not like it at all. But I don't know, I'm kind of guessing that it's sort of following along the lines of most other superhero graphic novels. Next up is Aya of Yop City, and Steph from Steph Spines and Tim, I think, read this in the last readathon. I remember asking work to buy this 2.5 years ago and I still haven't read it. It basically just tells the day-to-day life of, I believe, Aya and her family. That's very vague, but I think it was my turn to pick graphic novels that we were purchasing, and I just sort of trolled the internet and this was one that came up which sounded quite interesting to read, so I think that after 2.5 years I should get my ass into gear and actually read it. I also went on to Book Depository and they sort of had a graphic novel sale going, and so I just looked at a few of the ones that they had on sale and then looked them up on the catalogue. This is Goodbye by Yoshiro Tatsumi, and apparently he is like, I don't know, I want to say the godfather of graphic novels of Japan. Oh, they've got the grandfather. I actually have no idea what this is about at all, but I thought, you know, beloved, it's a bestseller in Japan, it would be quite interesting. The drawings are, oh, got some dude peeing. I mean, they're quite simple, but I'm assuming that he has really amazing stories. So I guess later on in the month we will have my reviews, my thoughts on that. Next up, and I'm not quite sure how I ended up with this one, whether it was a recommendation or it's just something that I found on the internet and popped it on hold, but it's Fierce by Robert and Jeremy Love, and I believe this is the first book in this comic. I'm hoping it's the first one, because otherwise I'm going to have no idea what's happening. But basically it tells the story of Jonathan Fierce. He works for the FBI as a profiler, I believe, and he also has psychic abilities. And I don't know. I just thought that sounded really interesting. I do like the FBI and paranormal, and it's a graphic novel. I'm thinking good things. I also have, which I'm probably the most excited about out of everything, is this is volume 21 and 22, I think, of Walking Dead, and I have volume 19 at work. So once I finish this, I'm all caught up. And I'm not going to say too much about this because obviously, if you haven't read them, this is a pretty pivotal storyline in the graphic novels. But the last one I read wrecked me basically, and I've just really been looking forward to continuing in that world. But yeah, Robert Kirkman, I'm a bit dark on you at the moment. Yeah, that's all I'm gonna say. Next up, I have 2 books by Alison Bechdel, Fun Home and Are You My Mother? And again, funny story, I don't know, this is actually not our copy because obviously nobody but me wanted to read this because our copy obviously has been withdrawn, which is really freaking annoying because I hadn't gotten to read it yet. So whenever this came out in 2006, so probably a couple of years later, maybe around the same time that I requested that one, I got work to buy this. Never got around to reading it. So I thought, now that she has another one, and I'm guessing these are kind of companion. Fun Home is about Alison and her father, and Are You My Mother is about Alison and her mother. So I obviously have to read. I keep putting things in the wrong thing so you can't see them. Obviously I have to read Fun Home first. Next up is Are You My Mother? I'm not sure if I will get to all of those. Probably I'll definitely try to read them all. We'll see how we go. I probably will end up reading them through the month of December. I tend to keep reading, especially if I'm liking the pick of the month as well. I also have, because it is December and Christmas time, some light fluffy reading, which is The Christmas Clock by Kat Martin. And I actually bid on this book a couple of years ago as part of a fundraiser for when there was really serious flooding a couple of years back in Queensland, and the ARA, Australian Romance Readers Association, at their conference was raising funds for that. So I bid on this book. Besides the fact that it's a Christmas story, I don't actually really know anything about it, and I'm kind of a sucker for Christmas stories. Next up is Under the Mistletoe by Linda Howard and Stephanie Bond. I am hoping that this is fun. I'm being very vague here because I don't really know what any of these are about. I actually bought this last Christmas and I still haven't read it yet. It's Rescuing Christmas. There was a dog. That's why I bought it. And it's got 3 books in it. Vicki Lewis Thompson, Catherine Mann and Kathy Denozy. I've only ever read Kathy Lewis Thompson, so I'll see how I go with the other authors because, yeah, I haven't heard of them. But basically all of these stories are set around animal shelters and at Christmas time, which is kind of cute. Christmas Getaway by Anne Stewart, Tina Leonard and Marion Lennox. Again, I haven't read any of those authors, but it was a $2 book, I think, so I've decided just to give it a go. And it's one of the books that I'll read it and then either pass it along to a friend or I'll donate it to work. I also have Christmas in Cowboy Country by Janet Daly, and I am debating whether or not to read this. Because I have had a hit and miss relationship with Janet Daly, but I thought it's set in Wyoming. I really like Wyoming. There's cowboys and horses. I like both of those. It's Christmas. I love Christmas. So I am hoping, fingers crossed, that I don't mind this. I am also listening to a book by Diana Palmer, Heart of Ice or something like that. And if I was reading it, I don't think I'd continue reading it, but because I'm listening to it in the truck, I can't get away. I have been continuing to listen to it, although, oh my goodness, I am getting such reader rage at the moment because the main guy, he's got some weird alpha cowboy name, friggin', I can't bloody remember, but oh man, he's given me the ear. It's like so bad. If that was me, I'd just be punching him in the face. So bad. If you guys are friends with me on Goodreads, I have been writing a few little comments, especially over the last couple of chapters, because oh my gosh, rage. And that brings me to my tradition of each Christmas, which is to read A Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens. I found a group on Goodreads recently which are reading all of Charles Dickens' Christmas stories. So A Christmas Carol, Cricket on the Hearth, I want to say The Signalman, but I don't think it is. There's, I think, about 6 short stories. So I decided to try and read all of those. Certainly if I get time, I will. I'll definitely read A Christmas Carol and A Cricket on the Hearth because I pretty much do that every year anyway. But there's a couple of stories of his that I haven't read yet, so I am looking forward to reading that. Like I said, I think I may have bitten off more than I can chew, more than I can read, but that really isn't any different from any other month because I set myself huge TBRs that I don't necessarily finish, or I'll end up reading a whole heap of books but it's nothing that's on my TBR. I still actually have to finish my book club book, which I need to finish by Monday next week. Ape House by Sarah Gruen. I'm not loving it, which is why it's taking me extra long to read it. But I'm also listening / reading to After Such Kindness by Gaynor. I've bloody forgotten her last name. But it's sort of like a retelling of C.S. Lewis and Alice, the story behind that. And even though it's creeping me the feck out, I'm loving it. It's really great. Yes. So continuing on with some reading some new things. I will be doing a November wrap up very shortly. So until then, happy reading. We'll see you next time. Thank you for watching. Let me know what you're reading, or if you've read any of these as well. In particular, if I should start with something rather than something else. Bagging that up for you there. Yes. Thank you. Bye.